Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Canada's Prime Minister has said a protest by truckers that has paralysed the capital, Ottawa, has to stop. Lorry drivers have been rallying against Canada's COVID vaccine rules. For nearly 2 weeks, hundreds of lorries have brought the city centre to a standstill, forcing many local businesses to close. On Twitter, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Canadians have the right to protest, to disagree with their government and to make their voices heard. We'll always protect that right. But let's be clear, they don't have the right to blockade our economy or our democracy or our fellow citizens' daily lives. It has to stop.
And want to know what the government is doing to put COVID-19 behind us.
Canada's House of Commons also held an emergency debate in response to the crisis. Yesterday, an Ottawan judge ruled that the truckers must stop honking their horns for at least 10 days. The French president has met with his Ukrainian counterpart in Kiev after hours of talks with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Emmanuel Macron was met by Volodymyr Zelensky outside the presidential palace. He is hosting the French president after Mr. Macron met with Vladimir Putin in Moscow. Mr. Putin hinted that progress had been made during his first Moscow summit with a Western leader since Russian troops massed on Ukraine's borders. However, Western powers have become increasingly concerned at the possibility of a conflict. Greece says it will tighten rules to combat violence at sports events following the killing of a 19-year-old soccer fan. It's after Alkis Kampanos was stabbed to death in the northern city of Thessaloniki. Flowers, candles, handwritten notes and yellow soccer jerseys of the Aris Soccer Club have been left at the scene where he was killed. Video has been released by police from the scene, alleging to show the attackers fleeing into waiting cars on the street that then drive away. At least 9 people have been arrested and 1 has been charged over the killing. 2 French citizens and a German national are among 8 victims of a bus crash near Cancun in Mexico. According to reports, a further 28 passengers were injured in the crash on the Canton-Ilkin-Cancun highway. 12 people have been hospitalized. It's thought the bus hit a construction vehicle. Authorities are investigating the cause. The United Nations World Food Programme says 13 million people across the Horn of Africa face severe hunger because of continued drought. Failed harvests and food shortages are forcing families from their homes. The rainy season has failed 3 years in a row and the drought continues. Crops are ruined, livestock are dying, and 13 million people in Ethiopia, Somalia and Kenya are going hungry. The WFP says immediate assistance is necessary to prevent a humanitarian crisis. Malawi's meteorological department has warned that several central and northern regions of the country could experience floods and have urged residents to remain vigilant. The Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services forecast that there could be more rain and thunderstorms. The general public has been advised not to go outdoors in areas during the rain. Malawi is still grappling with the aftermath of Tropical Storm Anna, which killed at least 32 people, caused power outages and massive destruction to property and infrastructure. And finally, a crocodile in Indonesia that had a motorcycle tyre stuck around its neck for 6 years has finally been freed by the help of a self-taught reptile rescuer. The crocodile had evoked sympathy from local residents who worried the tyre would eventually choke it as the reptile grew in size. A local called Tilly captured the reptile and used a small saw to finally free the animal from the tyre. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.